Pantry, and today it's time to can. You guys requested this. I know a lot of you wanted to see this, and so here's the start. So I've got these beautiful roasted chilies. These are hot hatch chilies. I have a batch in the refrigerator that I did for you on film that were mild, and I'm going to add both of them. This is a primarily hatch chili Salsa Verde. I'm also using this, that's probably 8 to 10 pounds of tomatillos out of the garden. And these peppers are ready to peel, but I've got to get gloves on. They've got a delicious amount of heat. I've got onions and a whole bulb of garlic. So it's going to be delicious. Lime juice, vinegar, and water bath canned. I've got my pint jars are in the dishwasher getting sanitized. And it's nice. I have a sanitized rinse cycle on my dishwasher and then heat it dry so they stay nice and hot. And if they get done before I'm ready for them, I will stick them in my Fresh Tech water bath canner. I'll try to leave a link for that down below. They're fabulous. I can fill it right out of the sink like I'm doing right now. And I always fill extra water, but I can also empty it right here in the sink when I'm done. This has got extra water. I probably didn't need that much, but I will. I won't waste that water. I'll use some of it to heat my lids. I'm also going to. I'll use some of it. I'll fill Shotzi's water. So anyway, that's what I'm doing. I'm peeling onions, guys. Are you ready to come in close and see how I do all this? Because this is a delicious salsa to have on the shelf and to use in casseroles, soups. It's a great addition to any Tex-Mex Mexican meal that you might be trying to put on the table. And I'm planning on at least a dozen pint jars, but if I don't get, or I get more than that, I'm going to use it for dinner tonight and make a pork chili verde. All right, I think I'm going to put 5 onions in here. All right, guys, come on in and I'll show you how we do it. I'm going to get ready to roast off these tomatillos out on the Weber. You guys have seen me do that. I'm gonna roast some of these onions, but I'm only going to cut them in half. So I might do 6 onions. These are a little bit on the small side, and I like a lot of onion flavor in my salsa, so it's delicious. Okay, so come on in. I just get the tops and bottoms off these onions. You can save these onion skins, give them a good rinse, and save them in the freezer for stock, if you like. I have no room in the freezer right now, so they're gonna go in the compost. So anyway, that's what's going on here. Oh my goodness. Nice, beautiful, fresh onions. I was going to use the onions out of my garden, but I really want to save those for another upcoming recipe that I always do. Maybe you guys can guess what that might be. But try and guess what I'm going to do with the rest of that 25 pounds of hatch chilies. Leave me a comment. What do you think I should do? Should I can whole chilies, diced chilies, both? What size jars? Leave me a comment. I'd love to hear what you think. All right. I've got 6 onions, and they're going to get cut in half to be put on the Weber. That was a tough onion. Or maybe I need to sharpen my knife. All right, let's get these cut in half, and I'll get to peeling garlic. Okay, here we are. Woo! Look at that. Okay, I think my onions can go just a little bit longer, and then they're done. You're just going to turn them until you get some char on them, and they get sweeter. It just adds a little bit more flavor. Same with the tomatillos, and they're gonna roast and cook and split, and look at that. Okay, so I'm gonna get all these roasting and cooking, and I'll bring you back when we're inside throwing it in the pot. I still have to peel those peppers. And my pepper tip, I'll show you when I get inside. Okay, so you've already seen me peel the peppers. You let them steam. I covered them in this pan. You let them steam, and then these skins will just peel right off. Wear gloves though, just because it can burn your hands. The capsaicin. These are not super hot, but they have a bite to them, so I'm going to use them. And then I've also got some serrano peppers. I've only got 6 of them right there. These are out of my garden. But I'll probably end up using more because I do want this salsa spicy. So look at that beautiful pepper. They are so delicious. And if you guys want, see, most of the seeds are gone. Those few won't bug me one bit. So my tip is to cut that cap off and get the seeds out before you grow them, and then it's easier to clean them. You can do them, I did them the other way, which is how most people do them, but it makes it hard to get all the seeds out if you really are trying to keep some of that out of your salsa. So that's my tip, and we literally are ready to get this in the pot. I've got my big 12-quart pot out, so I'm going to get these all cleaned up and raring to go. I'm super excited, guys. This is going to be wonderful to have on my shelf. I'm halfway tempted to do quart jars just because I know when I make like a pork verde salsa, or a pork verde, like a chili verde. I don't know why I can't talk. I like a lot of sauce in there. So, yeah. All right. I'm going to get to peeling, and I'll bring you back. Okay, so I'm starting to cook this, and I forgot I needed to bring you along for the spices. I'm going to use just shy of a quarter of a cup of Mexican oregano. You got to have it. And a quarter cup of cumin, ground cumin. And I don't use a lot of salt. I'm just going to do a couple healthy big pinches just to enhance the flavor, not to take over. I don't like too salty. You don't need it with the lime and all the other spices. All it needs to have is flavor. Let the veggies and the bounty from the garden shine through. So, looks like we're going to get a fair amount, but I've got 12 jars. I think I told you I have 12 jars ready, but I might actually do a canner load of pints, and then whatever's left, I'll do it in quart, because I've got both in the dishwasher. So you gotta let this cook down until it gets nice and soft, and then we can immersion blend it, and I'll be back. Okay, as you can see, I'm adding some more serrano peppers. I don't think it's hot enough. As soon as those are soft enough to put through the immersion blender, I'm gonna go ahead and blend this up. The onions are almost there. It has to simmer, honest and truly, about 45 minutes before everything is soft. But these tomatillos, a lot of them were super sweet because they were ripe, and so that's why I think the heat factor isn't quite there. But your peppers, when those peppers turn this lighter, you know, kind of a drab green instead of this bright green, it'll be ready to puree. All right, you can puree this in a blender if you want, or I just use a stick blender right in the pot, and then I'm ready to can it up right out of the pot. All right, dishwasher's almost done, guys. Okay, guys, it is time to get this immersion blended. I've got... Okay, guys, it is time to get this blended up. You have to really stir this often. You can't leave it sit here for too long because it'll scorch. And we don't want it scorched. We don't want a scorched flavor. And I don't want it stuck to the bottom of my pan. I want all that goodness going in the canning jar. All right. So I get my immersion. Whoa, get your immersion blender. Don't turn it on yet. get it submerged first and then go for it. Okay, so I've got it all blended, as you can see, and I've got a little bit here in a bowl cooled off so I could taste it. You can really taste the sweetness of the tomatillos. It's got a good bite, but not hot by any means. So good. But it's not done. You need cilantro. If you're not a cilantro fan, you could use parsley, but you won't. Cilantro is, in my opinion, you gotta have it. Now that's 2 small bundles of cilantro chopped up, and now we're ready to put it in the jars. Just let that. I put the cilantro in last because you don't want it to cook so long that it loses its herbaceous flavor. Herbs are tender, and they, like in long canning sessions under pressure, they usually will lose a lot of their flavor. So you have to add them back in fresh again, or leave them out until after. I'm sorry, you're getting a steamer bath here. Okay, let's get to jarring it up. Oops. Hot. Okay, hot jars. We're gonna get to canning. All right, I've got my lids in warm water, hot water actually, hot water, and I'm gonna pull this over to me a little bit closer so you can see. Here, it's thick, it's delicious, and it makes such a great cooking sauce when you want to cook chili verde, or you've got a casserole. And I had my paper towel. Okay, so I dipped my paper towel, wipe the rim of your jar like usual, and this is going to be a quick canning video. I'm not going to run through every single jar. You're not going to miss a thing. This is the exact same thing I'm going to do on every jar. Fill it finger tight on the rim, or on the ring, and there it is. Isn't it beautiful? Let's get it in the canner, waiting. The canner is hot and waiting. That's where I poured this hot water out of. Whoops, we'll get one more here. And then we're gonna can it. Once the water bath canner comes up to a boil with the jars completely submerged, we're gonna can this for 20 minutes for pints. So wipe the rim of your jar, make sure there's nothing on there, and these lids have the place for the date, so I always center them so it faces the front of the jar. So if this is a gift, it looks pretty top to bottom. All right, I'll be back when they're all in the canner. All right, guys, I am getting jars out of the canner. They've water bath canned for 20 minutes. These 2 over here I had to do on the stovetop. In the stock pot, I just filled the jars, washed the stock pot out, and filled it with water and got it going. And water bath those on the stove to save time, because now I'm just now taking these out. But I got a dozen jars of, look at the most beautiful. Well, I don't know if the light's going to give it justice. I will take pictures. It's so pretty. It's delicious. It's got the sweet tomatillo flavor, but the hatch chili bite and flavor as well. Roasted hatch chilies are amazing. Let's give you a better view. Okay, I think this will be a better view, and you'll be able to see the color of this salsa. Look at that. That's gorgeous. I'm just going to tell you, it's delicious. It's good to have on your shelf. I'm trying to put enough back that I have enough for the year. I don't want to have to buy it at the store. Why would I buy it when I have these fresh ingredients at my fingertips and all the skills to do what I need to do to put it on my shelf. I know exactly what went in this jar. Nobody's taking shortcuts. Nobody's putting food that isn't substandard in my canning jars. I have to tell you, I love doing this. It's a labor of love because it's a little bit of work, but it's worth it. Look at this. I have a dozen jars of hatch chili tomatillo salsa, roasted hatch chili salsa verde. Yay. All right, guys. It did take a little better part of a day to roast everything and get it all ready, but how long is it going to take me to go through a dozen pints of this? And I already have 10 pints from the last salsa go round. So this is how I do it. This is how I stock my pantry for the year. I know that I use a lot of this. I don't want to buy it. It's inexpensive to buy, but I don't know who touched it, who put food in that jar, what kind of product it was. Did they use substandard? I don't know. I don't know where the product came from. And so this way I do know. I know the tomatillos were organic out of my garden. So were the serrano peppers, the onions. The onions, I did buy organic onions. The hatch chilies are from New Mexico. And look at that. The last jar. So delicious. I can't wait. And the lime flavor, and it's just so nice. So I have a full case here. So now I've got 18 jars on the shelf of a salsa verde. And looks like a pepper didn't get all the way ground up. But guess what? When I open these jars, I'm going to use it in all kinds of stuff. And I guessed, produce-wise, I guessed that I had enough produce to do a dozen jars this morning. And sure enough, I made it right to the tablespoon. So anyways, you'll get good at that once you start judging produce. Anyway, next, what do you want to see? Do you want to see another canning video? Give me a comment in the comment section. If you've stayed this long, thank you so much. I hope that you subscribe if you like this content. I hope that you enjoy the canning videos and that you'll stay tuned for more of that. Stock your pantry. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section. I'll be happy to answer. All right. Bye.